السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد سيد الأولين والآخرين مدد يا رسول الله مدد يا سادة مدد يا رسول الله. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ليس في صلاة الخوف سهو. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki korku namazında sehv secdesi yapılmaz.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that when you perform the prayer of fear, then if you think that you may have forgotten an element of prayer, then you don't need to recompensate that with an additional sajda. You don't need to make the sahv sajda.
Yani korku namazı ayrı bir usul var kılınacak nasıl olursa onun sehv secdesi gerekmez. Çünkü
there's a special way how the prayer of fear needs to be performed, and it's a special condition. And it is during the prayer of fear that when one thinks that one has forgotten something, that one does not need to perform sahv.
Zaten korku halinde acele olunan bir namazdır. Onun için sehv ederse yani hata olsa da sehv secdesi yapmaya gerek yok.
So as the prayer of fear is a special prayer which is performed during the special condition of being exposed to a situation where a person may be afraid or frightened, that is why when you perform that prayer of fear, that we are not required to perform sahw when you think that you have forgotten something, and when you missed something, you don't need to make a sahw, that additional sajda, to make up for what you have missed.
قال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله وضع على المسافر الصوم وأن الله وضع على المسافر الصوم وشطر الصلاة. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki Yüce Allah Azze ve Celle seferde çıkan kişiden orucu ve namazın yarısını kaldırmıştır.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when someone journeys, then Allah Almighty has lifted from them the duty of fasting, and Allah Almighty has reduced prayer by half.
Yani namaz seferi olunca orucu bozabilir, yani oruç tutmasına gerek yok ama
when one is on a journey, one is not necessitated to perform one's fast. One is allowed to break one's fast. There's not the obligatory requirement to perform one's fast if one is on a journey.
Tutan tutsun, mühim değil ama
but if one desires to fast, one may fast nevertheless.
O kefaret falan olmaz.
However, if one does not fast during the journey, then that fasting or breaking the fast does not require one to make up for that. It does not require one to do kafara. It does not require you to perform two consecutive months of fasting in order to compensate that fasting which you did not do during our journey.
O oruç tutmadığı günleri geldiği vakit tutabilir.
When you are on a journey and when you do not fast on those days while you are on a journey, you may perform and you may fast after you have returned from that journey and make up for the days you've missed one by one without having to do kafara, which means without having to do 2 consecutive months of fasting.
Tutmak isterse de o tutabilir yani.
And if you still desire to fast while you are on a journey, you may do so.
Namazında yarısı kılınır. 4 rekat, 2 rekat.
And when it comes to prayer during a journey, you need to pray half the amount. So instead of performing 4 rakah, one needs to perform 2 rakah.
2 rekat, zaten 2 rekat sabah namazı.
And Fajr is already 2 rakah. It remains to be performed as 2 rakah during a journey.
Tam da 3 rekat olacak.
And Maghrib prayer also remains as it is, 3 rakah. When you are on a journey, you perform Maghrib prayer as it is with 3 rakah.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم خياركم الذين سافروا قصروا الصلاة وأفطروا. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki sizin hayırlınız sefere çıktığı zaman namazını kısaltanlar ve oruç tutmayanlardır.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that the most virtuous among you is the one who during a journey performs half the amount of the prayer and who does not fast during a journey.
Namazı yani onun için seferi olunca sefer namaz kılmak daha iyidir.
When you are on a journey, it is better for you to follow this and to perform half the amount of the required rak'ah.
Yani insan tabi bazı insanlar yani çoğu insanlar sefere olunca sünnet kılmıyorlar.
However, this does not require you that when you are on a journey, this does not mean that while you may shorten the obligatory prayers by half the amount, this does not mean that you are prohibited from performing the sunnah prayers.
Yani o da kılan kılar yani o mani yoktur.
There is no prohibition that when one is on a journey, that one is not allowed to perform sunnah prayer. If you are on a journey, you may nevertheless perform your sunnah prayers.
Sünnet kılacak olan insan bir günah değil, mekruh değil, kılan sırf farzı.
There's no prohibition, and it is not makruh, and there's nothing against it. That when you are on a journey, you may, if you like to do so, you may still perform your sunnah prayers.
Allah Azze ve Celle Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem onu yarı yapın diyor.
Only when it comes to the obligatory prayers, one is required to, when you are on a journey, to pray half the amount.
Oruçta bozabilirsiniz, gelince onun yerine tutabilirsiniz.
And when it comes to fasting, you are allowed that when you are on a journey to not fast during the days while you are on a journey, and you then may fast when you have returned from the journey.
Bir şey olmuyor onun. Fazileti de gitmiyor. Günah da olmuyor.
And when you are on a journey and you do not fast, you have not committed a sin, and you have not lost the rewards and the blessings as if you had fasted. You may simply, when you return from your journey, you may fast one by one the days you have missed during that journey, and you will not have committed a sin, and you will not have lost the rewards or blessings.
Kefarete gerekmiyor.
And you are not required to perform kafara fasting prior to recompensation 2 consecutive months.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صدقة تصدق الله بها عليكم فأقبلوا صدقته. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem diyor ki bu ruhsat yani namazı kısaltmak Allah'ın size vermiş olduğu bir sadakadır.
And it is a favor to you, it is a sadaqah given to you by Allah Almighty, that when you are on a journey, that you are allowed to shorten your prayer.
Siz Allah'ın bu sadakasını kabul edin diyor.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says, accept that sadaqah which Allah Almighty gives to those who are on a journey, and shorten your prayer.
Ama tabii şimdi bazı insanlar bilmeyenler imama tabi olduğu vakitte 2 rekatta selam veren bazen oluyor. O olmaz.
And sometimes, however, there are people who do not know about these things, and when they follow an imam who leads the prayer, who in fact is on a journey and only prays half the amount and gives salam after 2 rakah, it happens that those who are unaware of this knowledge in the Jama, they also give salam after 2 rakah. You should not give salam with the imam if you are not on a journey.
İmama tabi oldun mu, imam olduktan sonra 4 rekatı ondan tamamlayacaksın. O selam verince selam vereceksin.
And when the imam is a resident of the place he lives in, and the imam performs the prayer with 4 rakah, and you yourself are on a journey, this does not mean that you finish your prayer after 2 rakah. The moment you join the Jama, the moment you follow the imam, you must complete the 4 rakah, even though you are on a journey and you would have only been required to perform 2 rakah.
Seferi olanlar seferi imamı da onu 2 rekatta selam verir. Başka varsa onlar da 14 rekatı kalkıp tamamlar o vakit.
On the other hand, if the imam himself is on a journey and he leads the prayer, then the imam may perform only 2 rakah, only perform half the amount, and give salam after 2 rakah. And within the Jama, if there are people who are also on a journey, they may also give salam after 2 rakah. But residents of that place, they should not give salam after 2 rakah. Instead, they should complete the full amount and complete the 4 rakah after the imam has given salam after 2 rakah.
قال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم صلاة المسافر ركعتان حتى يؤوب إلى أهله أو يموت. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki seferi kişinin namazı ailesine geri dönünce veya seferinde ölünceye kadar 2'şer rekattır.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when a traveler who is on a journey shall perform 2 rakah until he returns to his family or he dies during his journey.
Yani bu seferde de yani seferde olan insan, yolculukta olan insan 2 rekat olur. Daha evine dönene kadar yahut ölene kadar.
The traveler who is on a journey is our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says should shorten his prayer and should perform half the amount, 2 rakah, until he returns home to his family or he dies.
قال Resulullah sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem salatul musafir bimina ve gayraha rek'atan. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor, seferi kişinin namazı Mina ve başka yerde 2'şer rekattır. Çünkü hacca giden insanlar Mina'da ya Müzdelife'de Arafat'ta onu bu son gittiğimiz vakit şaşırdık. İmama uyduk, 4 rekat kıldı.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that during the Hajj in Mina, in Muzdalifah or in Arafat, one should shorten one's prayer as one is a traveler and should perform 2 rakah. Last time we went there, we were surprised that the Imam led the prayer, and in fact he did not shorten the prayer. Instead, he performed 4 full rakah.
4 rekat kıldı. Ondan sonra ikindiyi de kıldı. Nasıl olur? Bu acayip bir hal yani.
And he did not shorten neither Dhuhr prayer nor Asr prayer.
Hem sünneti yapmıyorlar, vacibi de yapmıyorlar. Yani
And this is a very strange situation because they do not fulfill the requirements of neither the sunnah nor do they fulfill the requirements of what is wajib.
Hanefi mezhebine göre sırf 2 halde cem yapabilirsin. Yani öğlen ikindi yat cem edip.
And according to the Hanafi Mazhab, you may under only 2 conditions combine the prayers. It is the Dhuhr and Asr prayer.
Akşam yatsıyı da cem ediyorsun.
And you may combine Maghrib prayer and Isha prayer.
Şafii'de sefer oldun mu cem edebilirsin. Topla onu yapabilirsin. Ama bu,
and according to the Shafi Madhab, you may combine the prayers.
Yani o Arafat'ta insanı yani günaha da soktular, yani biz kızdık çünkü o meseleye. Şimdi Diyanet onu yapıyor. Ne hikmetse nasıl fetva vermişse anlamadım yani.
And when they did not shorten the prayers, we were surprised and it made us angry because they disrespected the sunnah and what is wajib. And at that time we were angry and we were surprised about how they gave that kind of fatwa and why the Diyana institution made this practice.
Halbuki Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem hadisleri var açıkça, orasının kasır dedi, yani Şam kasır hem kısaltma hem cem edeceksin. Öğlen ikindi, akşam yatsıyı.
However, the evidence is clear and the sayings of our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, are clear that when you are there are these special conditions that one is required to shorten and both combine Dhuhr and Asr and to combine Maghrib and Isha.
Tabii işte şimdi hacca gidenler bazı yerlerde sefere oluyor, bazı yerlerde sefere olmuyorlar ama tabii imama tabi oldukları için ona tabi olacaklar, 4 rekat kılacaklar.
And of course there are certain conditions when you are on the Hajj, depending on the time you will be staying there, which may make you to be a traveler, or if you stay long enough, you may no longer be considered a traveler. But under such situations, you have no other chance except to follow. When you join the Jama'ah and you join the Imam leading the prayer, you must do as the Imam does in those situations.
Onun dışında kılanlar varsa 15 günden aşağıysa o vakit 2 rekat kılarlar. 15 günden fazla, çoğu hacılar 15 günden fazla kalıyor Kabe'de, Mekke'de. Onun da normal mukim artık haline girmiş oluyorlar.
If you are going to stay less than 15 days, then you may shorten the prayer down to 2 rakah. If you are going to stay more than 15 days, and generally most pilgrims stay then more than 15 days, then you may perform your prayers without shortening them.
قال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم الصلاة على ظهر الدابة هكذا وهكذا وهكذا. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki kişi yolculuk sırasında binek üzerinde nafile namazını hangi yöne kılsa geçerli olur.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that while you are on a journey and you are riding your vehicle, whatever direction your vehicle is turned towards, you may perform your voluntary prayer into that direction towards where your vehicle is heading.
Namaz şimdi eskiden yolculuğa çıkınca atın üstünde, deve üstünde.
In former times, people's vehicles were horses or camels.
Merkep üstünde ne olsa onun üstünde namaz oluyor yani.
Or they would travel on donkeys and they could perform their prayers while riding their animals.
Neden? Şimdi de artık onlar yok tabii de otobüste ya trende falan uçakta giderken.
And nowadays these applies to traveling in buses or in trains or in airplanes.
Aynı şekilde nereye istikamede olsa ona niyet edip o namazını orada edebiliyorsun.
And regardless towards where your vehicle is headed to, you may perform your prayer in that vehicle.
Yani. قال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم من تأهل في بلد فليصلي صلاة المقيم. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki kim bir şehirden evlenirse artık şehirde mukim gibi namaz kılsın.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when someone marries in a city or in a place, then he is considered to be the resident of that place and may perform his prayers like a resident of that place.
Yani orada oturan gibi namaz kılsın. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم المتم الصلاة في السفر كالمقصر في الحضر. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki seferdeyken namazı tam kılan kişi mukim iken eksik kılan kişi gibidir. Yani o da olmaz.
And our beloved prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that when somebody is a traveler and performs the prayers without shortening them, without reducing them half the amount, that person is like a resident who only prays half the amount while he should have performed the full amount of prayers.
Zaruret olmasa bazen bazı haller zaruret oluyor. 4 rekat yani seferi olduğun halde 4 rekat kılma mecburiyeti bazen oluyor. O hariç ötekisi.
Sometimes it may occur that there are certain situations or exceptions where even though one is a traveler, one should not shorten the prayer but should pray them in full amount.
Yapacak. 2 rekat kılması lazım.
But in all other situations, when one is a traveler, one should shorten the amount by half.
Bizim çoğu zaman yolculuk olduğu için şimdi Müslümanlar memleket olunca ya Müslümanların fazla olan yerler olunca onu söylüyoruz. Seferiyiz, 2 rekat kılacağız. Kalanlar tamamlasın.
When we travel, during our journeys, we travel, for example, to places where it's a Muslim country and people are well acquainted with these things. And then we say we are travelers, so we are going to shorten the amount. And we tell them that we as the imam or the travelers are only going to perform 2 rakah. And then we just perform 2 rakah. And the residents of the places we visit, they then after we give salam, they complete their prayers. They perform 4 rakah.
Selam verdikten sonra hepsi kalkıp kılıyor. Yeni Müslüman yerlere gidiyorsun, bir selam veriyorsun, mukimse hepsi bir selam veriyor.
But sometimes we travel to places where there are new Muslims, and it happens that they don't know about these things, and then it appears that we give salam after 2 rakah because we're travelers, and then because they do not know about these things, they also give salam after 2 rakah.
Onun için mecburen bazen onların yerinde 4 rekat kılıp da Allah affetsin diyor. Bunlar mecburiyet var. Her şey mecbur.
And this is one of those situations, and we say, may Allah Almighty forgive us. This is one of the situations where even though we are travelers and we should have performed 2 rakah, we perform 4 rakah in order for the soundness of the prayers of the Jama'ah, of the new Muslims.
Ad-darurat tabihul mahzurat der. Yani zaruri şeyleri mubah kılar. Lazım olan şeyleri.
And this is a ruling according to Islamic jurisprudence that there may be situations, exceptions, which may require a certain behavior, and this is the exception we resort to, and why this is performed this way in those circumstances.
قال صلى الله عليه وسلم من جمع بين الصلاتين من غير عذر فقد أتى بابا من أبواب الكبائر. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki bu da çok mühimdir. Çoğu şimdi buradakiler tabi hepsi Hanefi olduğu için fazla cem meselesini bilmiyorlar. Birleştirmek meselesini bilmiyorlar. Ama başka yerlerde mukim olduğu halde birleştiriyorlar.
And this is an important matter. Here in this area, in this place here, most of the people here follow the school of jurisprudence of the Hanafi madhab, where one should not combine one's prayers. But we observe, and it happens that their people, even though they are residents, they combine their prayers.
Sefer olmadığı halde gene birleştiriyor. O olmaz işte.
And even though they are not travelers, they combine their prayers, which one should not do.
Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor. Kim özürsüz olarak 2 farz namazını birleştirirse büyük günahlar kapılarından bir kapıyı geçmiş olur yani.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that if somebody without any necessity and without any special condition combines 2 obligatory prayers, combines 2 fard prayers to one, opens one of the doors of the great sins.
Büyük günahların bir kapısına girmiş olur yani.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that the one who combines 2 obligatory prayers without any special condition and without being in a circumstance where there's no other way, then he opens the door of one of the great sins and goes through one of those doors.
O büyük günah olmasa da oraya yaklaşmış oluyor demek.
Even though this is not a great sin, but he, by doing so, is approaching to the great sins.
Onun için her vakit namazı ayrı kılmak lazım.
Therefore, one should perform the prayers at their distinct times.
Çok zaruret olunca, sefer olunca kaçıracaksın, edeceksin diye yani aşırı bir zaruret olursa o vakitte taklit İmam Şafii Hazretleri'ni taklit ediyorum diye onu şey yaparsın.
Only if there are extreme circumstances during a travel and when there's no other way and there's a danger of missing the prayer and when there's really no other option, then you may say, I follow the school of jurisprudence of the Shafi madhab, and then you may combine 2 prayers, 2 obligatory prayers.
صدق رسول الله فيما قال أو كما قال زيادة شرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وأصحابه الكرام وإلى أرواح جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين خدماء شرائعهم وإلى أرواح الأئمة الأربعة وإلى أرواح مشايخنا في الطريقة النقشبندية العالية خاصة إمام الطريقة غوث الخليفة خواجة بهاء الدين محمد ويسير البخاري سيدنا أحمد خالد الجواني ومولانا الشيخ شرف الدين داوساني ومولانا الشيخ عبد الله فاز داوساني ومولانا الشيخ محمد ناظم هادي الحقاني وسائر السادات والصديقين ومن حضرتهم وجلال حسين زكاني ورفقائه حاج مصطفى ترابي جملة من geçmişler ruhlar için şehit şuhadaların ruhları için Allah rızası için hayırlı gelmişlerin defa olsun. El Fatiha.
Böyle bu çekiyorum çünkü